Dance.
Oh boy. After playing and reviewing over 500 surreal games last year, there were quite a few that I've been wanting to revisit. A ton of them really stood out to me, and not for the best reasons. One of these games was Harvester. Harvester is one of the most surreal and disturbing pieces of media I have ever had the misfortune of experiencing. It is truly unlike anything else. Written and directed by Gilbert P. Austin in 1996, Harvester is a super bizarre, that's kind of an understatement, point-and-click adventure game that's known for its gratuitous gore, violence, insane writing, and even more insane cutscenes. Although it flopped quite hard during its release, it managed to somehow gain a cult following in recent years due to its uniqueness. There's truly so much to say about this game, so let's start. We start off in some 90s CGI bedroom, with the game shoving some gameplay tips in our face. The game tells us to avoid cliches like the plague. Good advice. It also tells us not to waste ammo and to save the game often, especially before trying something crazy, illogical, or dangerous. This advice is very useful. As you'll see later on, there's a worryingly large amount of ways you can die in this game. Finally, the game lets us know that if we get stuck on a puzzle, we should try using items in crazy, illogical ways. Ah, epic. We should expect some black tar heroin levels of puzzle solving. In our room, we can walk around and holy shit, there's combat. After clicking on everything in sight, trust me, this is required in order to beat the game without a guide, we can open our drawer and grab a pen and a quarter. We are balling. Walking downstairs, we're greeted with a kid in a cowboy costume, watching television like a Gen Alpha kid watching Cocomelon. By talking to him, we learn that our name is Steve, and that this is our little brother, Hank.
What? Leave me alone, Steve, or I'll tell Mom on you.
Hank is a little shit.
Look, do you know me?
Wish I didn't, 'cause then you wouldn't be my brother, and I'd have your room, and all the presents at Christmas. Though I will soon enough anyway, 'cause you're a lousy rat.
You're my brother?
No duh.
Listen, I don't mean to, bug you, but I can't seem to remember anything. Will you please just tell me who you are?
You always were a kidder, Steve. Leave me alone. I'm sick.
Turns out that our boy Steve has the case of the old amnesia and can't remember a single thing. Who he is, how he got into this random house, we don't know, and neither does he. After getting bullied by this child, we can enter the kitchen and meet our mother. Oh my god, the music is amazing.
Well, hello there. How about some cookies? There's plenty of rejects in the trash.
Who are you?
That's a fine way to talk to your mother.
You're my mother?
That's right. Though sometimes I get treated like the hired help around here.
I don't remember you.
Of course you don't. Until you need your socks washed.
No, you don't understand. I can't remember where I am or even who I am.
Land's sake, stop your joshing, won't you?
As you may guess, Steve doesn't recognize this woman as his mother, and begins to realize that he is truly cooked. Turns out that Steve is engaged to a girl named Stephanie, but due to the whole amnesia business, Steve isn't too thrilled about it. We're also apparently meant to get a job at the town's meat plant run by our dad, as we're newly graduated and still unemployed. He's just like me, for real.
All this talk about weddings is nuts. I'm not marrying anybody till I figure out...
First the heartbreak of psoriasis, and now this. 2 weeks before the wedding and you're backing out. Whatever will the neighbors...
I can't marry someone I don't even know.
Fine, have it your way, but leave me out of it. If you're going to break Stephanie's heart, you march right next door and do it yourself.
In addition to selecting from a few keywords, we're also able to type in what we want to say during dialogue. Now that's epic. Wait, you don't think... can I?
What a thing to say to your mother. Was that an invitation now that your father is out of action? Maybe later, dear. Right now I have housework to do. Though you can watch if you want.
No fucking way. This is one of the few hidden dialogue options in the game, and by far the most entertaining. After attempting to seduce your own mother, she sends you off and tells you to put the papers out for a boy named Jimmy.
Don't forget to put the papers out for Jimmy. You know how he gets.
On the way out, we see that our dad is locked away in his room and appears to be unable to get out of bed. Something feels very off. After grabbing some paper, we go outside and meet this kid named Jimmy James. He's also a little shit.
Hey, Steve, I'm Jimmy James. Remember me?
I guess not.
Hey, how come you haven't been putting the paper out for me in the morning? Yeah? Well, try to remember, will ya? How'd you expect a working Joe to make an honest living? You don't put the paper out, I'm out of a job.
So what? You don't get paid for picking up papers anyway.
The Sentinel building burnt down. What the heck else am I supposed to do? Listen, start putting that paper out and everything will be jake, okay? That's all I want. That and a pair of sneakers. Walking this route every day has worn holes in mine. Say, you got any...
What could you give me?
You know Miss Whaley and Principal Harold down at the school? Well, I found out they're messing around with each other in the broom closet. I can tell you when they meet and trade you some keys that'll let you catch them red-handed. What do you say?
He tells us that his sneakers are worn out from walking so much, and if we get him some new ones, he'll tell us when and where we can see 2 teachers at the school get frisky in a broom closet. I need to get this kid some new shoes. He also semi-threatens us into giving him a bundle of paper. This is something we'll have to do several times throughout the game. You'll see later on what happens if we forget to. It's not good. After leaving the house, we have full access to explore the town of Harvest. Jesus, that music is terrifying. We're able to go to any location in the town, but I think it's a good idea to go visit our fiance and call things off. It's kinda hard to get married when you have amnesia. Entering her house, we get introduced to Stephanie's father, Mr. Potsdam, and he's quite the character.
There he is, my future son-in-law. And how's he doing today? What brings him to the Potsdam household, huh? Oh, you'll have to ask the missus about that. Stephanie's grounded to the wedding. Can't have her changing her mind at the last minute. Not with all that meat at stake.
I haven't seen my father. He's locked in a room. I hear him moaning, but that's all.
He's not going to die, is he?
Like I said, I don't know. That woman, Mom, tends to him herself.
Well, next time you see him, be sure to tell him that I said hello. And tell him that I'm praying for his speedy recovery. And also, would you remind him about the meat? Especially about the meat.
Something tells me this guy might be vegan, I don't know. He tells us about this place called The Lodge. The place is apparently filled with wonders, and he urges us to fill out an application to get in. Unfortunately, unlike with our mother, we cannot ask this fat man for sexual intercourse, bummer. We're also able to meet Stephanie's mum in the kitchen, but there's something a little off about her.
Hello, Steve. Have you flossed today? Honestly, you men can insult a woman without even knowing you've done it. What a horrible thing to say.
They're both standing around baking cookies. Same cut of dress. Same pearls. So bizarre.
There's nothing bizarre about baking cookies. The Harvest Charity Bake Sale is Friday, you know, and by gosh, Mrs. Marvin Potson Jr. can be counted on to do her share.
Yeah, that's definitely the same actor. After raiding the household's medicine cabinet for supplies, we finally go meet our bride.
Who are you? What are you doing in my room?
Haven't you heard? We're getting married.
So, you're the one. Steve, isn't it?
You mean you don't know me?
I mean, I don't know anyone. I don't remember anything. How many times do I have to say it?
Just once, Stephanie, because I can't remember a damn thing either.
Really? Oh God, I thought it was just me.
You're not alone. Can you tell me what's going on here?
Turns out she has amnesia as well. Epic. Despite her lack of memory, she faintly recognizes Steve. Something about him feels familiar to her.
Maybe my amnesia isn't total after all. You're familiar to me. Like we've met before. In another life. Well, have you thought about how to escape Harvest? Everything in Harvest seems to revolve around this damned lodge. This Order of the Harvest Moon. They're responsible for this insane bake sale that's coming, and for the Harvest Blood Drive, too. When people talk about the lodge, it's always in this hushed, reverent tone. Mom keeps telling me that women can't join, but she keeps pressuring me to get you to join.
You think the lodge is some kind of trap?
I think all of Harvest is a trap.
If that's true, maybe joining the lodge is the way out.
Immediately, she speaks to us about possibly escaping the town, comparing it to a sort of prison. She gives us a bit more info about the lodge, and tells us that she is terrified of it. While she thinks that it may be a trap, Steve feels that the lodge may contain some answers about his strange situation. Before we start our lengthy journey to enter this large, ominous building, it might be a good idea to save. Jesus Christ, this is the most terrifying save screen I've ever seen. After saving our game, just in case we die somehow, we head over to the post office to get ourselves a lodge application.
Yes?
I need some help, Mr.
Postmaster Boyle, what can I do for you today? Sorry, youngster, we're out of applications right now.
Come on, you must have one around here somewhere.
Well, I do have the master, but you can't write on that. And I only make copies once a month, on the button, regular as clockwork. It's not the effort, son. It's the principle. We must adhere to our standards. They're all that stand between civilization and chaos. I'm sorry, you'll just have to come back in a month, same as anyone else. And even then, I can't guarantee you'll get an application. The line is always long, and there are never enough to go around.
It's very important that I get in quickly.
That's what they all say. Postmaster Boyle, I'll just die if I don't get into the lodge. I can't make an exception, young man. It just wouldn't be right.
We're gonna have to force this guy.
Next time you post, don't forget the zip code.
I won't, bitch. After looking around on the map, I decide to go to this abandoned house next. It seems pretty suspicious. After walking into the wasp-infested house, we meet some hippie lady named Tetsuya Karam that appears to be obsessed with wasps.
It's not often that I get visitors. I am Tetsuya Crumb. The ignorant of harvest call me the Wasp Woman. A pejorative, no doubt, born of fear and a poverty of imagination.
I don't understand.
The politics of honey, the Judeo-Christian rites of sacrifice and conventional taboos against unbridled pleasure are all responsible for the prejudice against wasps. The politics of honey are intertwined with the age-old struggle of the aesthetic versus the commercial.
Yeah, righto. I think it's time to test out the combat system. Oh my god, that was amazing. After murdering an innocent wasp lady, I decide to head over to the meat plant and see about getting a job. Damn, there's a bunch of cats outside for some reason. Wait, is that a... Jesus fucking Christ. This game does not hold back at all.
Steve, how's your father? Is he better?
About the same, I guess.
He's been away from work for weeks, and when I call your house, your mother won't let me talk to him.
I haven't seen him either.
This is a fine kettle of fish, I must say. Though I am glad to see you taking an interest in the business in your dad's absence.
After talking to the butcher behind the counter, we learn that our dad has been absent from work for quite a while, and he's starting to worry.
Who are you?
Aw, Steve, I didn't want to believe that amnesia hokum. Now you're saying you don't remember your pal Pat O'Reilly?
Look, I'm not kidding about the amnesia. Why won't anyone believe me?
Well, you always were such a kidder, Steve.
I sure as hell don't feel like a kidder now.
Why does everyone keep saying I'm a kidder? Well, it turns out, a kidder isn't the only thing Steve is. He's also a diddler.
Harvest your fun fact time, baby.
Did you know the real-life actor for the character Steve is a convicted sex offender? I guess that fact wasn't so fun. Turns out, Kurt Kissler, Steve's actor, was found to be in possession of Club Penguin, not once, but twice. What's even more insane is that in one of his mugshots, he's wearing a shirt that's identical to Steve's in the game. That's fucking insane. For reasons that you'll see as we get further into the game, this is very meta. Have fun watching the rest of this video. Anywho, we asked the butcher guy in the shop if we can have a sample of the product. Despite the working conditions of the meat plant, Steve is determined to have a taste of the forbidden meat, and the guy gives us a permission slip that we need our dad to sign. After heavily debating becoming vegetarian, we head over to the town's general store to spend the quarter that we found in Steve's bedroom.
Can I help you, dear?
Who are you?
This is Phelps General Store, so who would that make me? Maybe you need to go back to Ging Memorial and have Miss Whaley teach you about logic.
I'm fuzzy on a lot of things these days. My memory's gone.
Pshaw, you always were a kidder, Steve.
I'm serious, I need some help.
Well, they say a sharp blow to the head is a good thing for amnesia, in which case I'd recommend Miss Whaley again. Then again, they say a good scare can jog the memory, in which case I'd advise you to visit the Sergeant at Arms over at the lodge. That man gives me the willies. Speaking of willies, how's your father?
She said Willie. With all but a quarter to our name, the one thing we can afford is an adult magazine. We decide to purchase it, even though magazines featuring adults aren't Steve's cup of tea. After shopping for the magazine, we head over to the missile base next, because I need to know why a missile base is in the middle of a suburban town. Oh boy.
Oh, who goes there?
They tell me my name is Steve.
All right, this is Section 21. Keep your distance, son. I wouldn't want to have to blow your head off.
That makes two of us.
So you're the amnesiac, huh? Just another draft-dodging ploy the way I see it. But at least you're not an alien. You see their ships every now and then. Sometimes Swell bags one in the woods.
Who are you?
Colonel Buster Monroe, commander of the Harvest Nuclear Missile Installation, keeping America safe from those who would dye our flag red, white, and pink.
These are nuclear missiles?
Goddamn right they are. Every one of them ready to rain death on the Ruskies. All I gotta do is hit the button and blammo! The price of vodka goes through the roof. Along with the vodka.
Apparently this guy is in charge of the town's nuclear missiles. Yeah, for some reason this town is harboring nuclear missiles.
Then you have sole control of the, missiles.
That's right. Been in charge here since WW2. When I got my lower torso shot off in the war.
Ah, that explains the lack of legs. For some reason, in my game, the music in this area kept cutting off and looping after a few seconds. I don't know what it is, but the broken background music combined with this image is very terrifying. I feel like I'm about to pass out. After questioning this guy about the nuclear holocaust safeguards, he starts to become quite suspicious about us and labels us as a communist. If the player is unable to convince the war veteran that they're a born and bred American, this happens. Yeah, this is why the game tells you to save before doing anything. It turns out, we can actually progress through this game without even interacting with this area. Same goes for the wasp lady. What a great use of my time. After getting warned not to by the colonel, I decide to head over to the town's fire station and meet the fireman. That fire hydrant, I don't know, it kinda looks like a cop.
Hello, Steve. Welcome to the House of Flame, as we like to call it. Oh, cut it out, Spots, honestly. Once he gets barking, a good piece of meat is the only way to shut him up.
Ah, epic. The firemen are gay stereotypes. Instead of doing fireman stuff, the firemen of this town decide to spend all day painting this man on a table. Fair enough. We learned that recently, the town's newspaper building was burnt down, and no one knows what happened to it. Additionally, we learned that the wasp woman's house is a big accident waiting to happen.
Harvest your fun fact time, baby.
Apparently, the Wasp Woman's house was originally meant to play a much larger role in the game. In a later section in the game, where you have to sneak into the fire station, you were originally able to burn down the Wasp Lady's house in order to draw the firemen away. Why they took it out, I'm not too sure. I really wish they kept it in. I fucking hate wasps. I want to give a special thank you to The Harvester Show, a series on YouTube from a few years ago, made by the channel Lodge Level 4, that's run by a guy named Arno Malin. This guy is definitely the world's biggest Harvester fan, and he holds an encyclopedia of knowledge surrounding it. A ton of the info I use in this video will be from this guy. He somehow managed to get access to the original script of the game, as well as a few other behind the scenes stuff, so his channel is a great source of info. You can actually view the script for the game online. It's super big, and some of the stuff featured in it is just bizarre. In the script, you can see that the game is dated in July of 1994, even though the game released 2 years later in 1996. This is actually because the game finished pre-production in 1994. All of the live action shots were filmed and all the assets were made. The reason it was released in 1996 is because it took a total of 2 years for it to get fully programmed and polished. This delay sort of contributed to the financial failure of the game, as when it got released, review outlets reported that the game felt a little dated. What was I doing? Oh yeah, gay firemen. After chatting with these poorly aged stereotypes, I decided to finally check out the lodge. We've heard a ton of stuff about it, so we might as well see what the big deal is. How quaint.
Only initiates may enter the Hall of the Order of the Harvest Moon.
Did you say something?
I did not speak, but my mind touched yours.
Telepathy? But how?
Only those who seek enlightenment warrant my attention. Do you hunger for true knowledge?
This guy's gotta clear his fucking throat.
Harvest your fun fact time.
Alright, I gotta stop doing that. This lovely fellow, adorned in an ominous brown robe, is actually voiced by the same person that voices Steve. Also, it turns out that the actor for Steve, that guy, doesn't voice him. His lines are dubbed over by another guy. This is also the same for the character Stephanie. This is why the cutscenes that feature them speaking feel slightly off. It's because it's dubbed over. Anywho, how do we go about accessing this giant, suspicious building?
There are always obstacles to the path. You must first fill out an application to be considered for initiation into the mysteries. Applications are available at the post office. Postmaster Boyle disseminates them to the uninitiated. I do not sully my hands.
Then I just fill it out and return it to you, or what?
You may find it difficult to obtain an application. You will no doubt need to find some way to persuade Postmaster Boyle to give you one in the middle of the month, as it is against his rules. When you do, however, bring it to me, and if you are worthy, you will be put to the test.
The man at the door, named the Sergeant-at-Arms, is aware that the town has a lack of lodge applications, and basically tells us that it's not his problem, and if we really want access, we will have to get our hands on one through any means necessary. But before we do that, make sure you've liked this video and you're subscribed. If not, I'll head over to your house and steal the copper wiring from your walls. Next, we head over to the Johnson residence, and we meet one of the strangest characters in the game.
Hello, Steve. How's the husband-to-be?
Other than having no memory, I guess I'm alright.
Alright? You should be ecstatic, considering what you're getting into, if you haven't gotten into it already. Speaking of which, I heard Stephanie was grounded. Her daddy's worried about getting his meat. Though if I were him, I'd be more concerned about Stephanie getting some meat. Edna Fitzpatrick is one of the snootiest women in town. I declare there isn't a woman in Harvest that turned me away. If I was interested, that is. Just because she owns DNAs, she's got all these highfalutin ideas about independence, and her with a little girl to raise. That child needs a father. And Edna, well, she needs a good, hard penis.
Okay, buddy, I'm gonna stop you right there. Mr. Johnson tells us about the DNA diner run by a lady named Edna. Unfortunately for her, Mr. Johnson is a certified freak, 7 days a week, and is sort of obsessed with her and her daughter.
Speaking of Stephanie, I still haven't gotten an invitation to the wedding yet.
I don't have anything to do with that.
That's okay. Personally, I'd prefer a pass to the honeymoon. You could use the back seat of my Tucker for the maiden voyage. It's plenty big. Believe you me. I'd drive you around. And I wouldn't look in the back seat. I guarantee it. Though if you'd like to come up front and take the wheel a while, I wouldn't say nay.
Oh my god. This man needs to be euthanized. After meeting a mentally ill man in the street, we head over to the DNA diner to see how Edna is dealing with the stalker situation. Ah, that's where the name comes from. That's funny. Funny. We go inside, and Edna appears to be so on edge that she mistakes us for Mr. Johnson.
Oh, Steve, what are you doing sneaking up on me like that? God, for a second I thought you were Mr. Johnson. What would you like to order?
Besides from her stalker situation, Edna is definitely the most normal person in Harvest and acts like an actual real-life person. We can ask her a bit more about the lodge and what's so cool about it.
The lodge is the repository of all wisdom. You should join the Order of the Harvest Moon, Steve, and soon.
Why? For God's sake, what is it about this place?
The wheat ripens and waits not for the scythe. The farmer who waits too long, it were better that he used the scythe to rip his own stomach out than to stay his scythe when the wheat ripens. The harvest moon wanes and then comes winter. An empty belly, the body sun's belly, gurgling within or bloody on the ground. What does it benefit a man if he gains his soul and loses the world? You hunger. Feed yourself before it's too late. Oh.
Alright, never mind. I take back everything I said about her. She tells us a little bit more about the Mr. Johnson situation and how scared of him she is. Edna also has a daughter named Karen who hangs out in the diner all day. Another epic fun fact, just like Steve's actor would do in real life, we're able to show the magazine we bought to her daughter and get arrested.
What's that, Mommy?
How dare you? You're a nice boy, Steve, but you need to be taught a lesson.
Yikes. In the diner, we're able to open this drawer in the background and pick up a screwdriver. This is our first encounter with pixel hunting. Throughout this game, there's going to be a shit ton of times where we're required to interact with an item in the world that's not clearly defined at all. In order to beat this game, one must click on every single pixel on the screen. I think this game gave me brain damage. After questioning the quality of my own eyesight, we head over to the school to see what's going on. We find our old principal in the hallway, and like everyone else in this godforsaken town, he says some very dodgy things to us.
Steve, good of you to drop by, big guy. Haven't seen you since graduation. A lot of changes, I hear.
You could say that.
Good, good. That's a nice part of my job. Turning fine young men and women out into the world, and then watching them prosper. Of course, I was able to reach more people at the old Sentinel, God bless her. But then again, I never got to see the results of my work up close before.
Who are you?
You know very well I'm Mr. Harold, principal of Gain Memorial. Steve, I've heard about this amnesia nonsense. I had hoped you'd be in the lodge by now, fine young fellow like yourself. But now, I think maybe you need a little more quality time.
This man is definitely going to touch me. We can enter a classroom and meet Steve's old teacher, Miss Whaley, who apparently has a special interest in corporal punishment.
We don't practice corporal punishment here. I've never believed in that old adage, spare the rod and spoil the child. A rod is too thin. But a baseball bat? That bridges the generation gap quite nicely.
Oh my god.
Oh dear. Colonel Monroe is conducting another air raid drill. Everyone into the hallway, quick!
If an A-bomb hits, what good is it gonna do to duck and cover?
Oh my fucking god. I have no words. After witnessing one of the most bizarre cutscenes in gaming history, we make our way to the town's newspaper building to inspect its ruins. In the building's rubble, we manage to find a shovel, a postman badge, and a burnt flyer. To this day, no one has a clue what this flyer is meant to do. This item serves zero purpose within the game. After looting the remains of the newspaper building, we head over to the police station to chat with Sheriff Dwayne.
Hello, Steve. Let me introduce myself.
Loomis here is my deputy. Without him, I'd have a hard time keeping the peace, or at least taking a lunch break. Mainly Loomis answers the phone and babysits the office while I'm out, though sometimes he likes to go in the back and stain the jail mattress.
Loomis is just like me, for real.
Isn't that right, Loomis?
Oh, now, Sheriff, what you gotta go and say that for?
Loomis has more than his share of problems. I wouldn't invite him to the wedding. Or if you do, make sure he doesn't catch the garter. That could be embarrassing.
Oh, I wouldn't do nothing, Dwayne. But I sure would like a little garter than been around Stephanie's thigh. Oh, well, that'd be right special.
Never mind, I take that back. The sheriff reveals that they managed to find some evidence at the scene of the newspaper building, but they're too simple-minded to do anything about it, so it's sitting in the storage room, collecting dust. Through some dialogue cues, we find out that Sheriff Dwayne actually hired Postmaster Boyle to burn down the newspaper station, and has been blackmailing him, hence the postman badge we found in the rubble. I remember what the lady said at the general store about Loomis wanting to buy an adult magazine, and decide to give it to him while Sheriff Dwayne leaves for lunch.
Oh, by George. Oh, by Jiminy. Oh, this here's the real thing. Oh, can I have it? Oh, thank you, Steve. Excuse me, kiddo. I gotta go check the jail for clean towels.
That's one way to distract him, I guess. While Loomis is in the back reading fine literature, we can steal the evidence room key, as well as the sheriff's logbook that details the blackmailing of Postmaster Boyle. Inside the evidence room we see, Loomis has tainted this evidence. Lovely. From the room, we can grab the gas can from the crime scene, a camera, a pair of sneakers, and go back outside.
Where's Loomis?
Come around, out if you come. Oh, that's good.
Loomis, damn you!
Wait, no! You pervert! No!
Lighting up the mattress again!
Poor Loomis. My guy was just partaking in fine culture. With our logbook in hand, we're able to go back to the general store and make some copies of it. With these copies, we can go back to the post office and use these copies to blackmail Postmaster Boyle.
This is unexpected and awkward. But my luck's been bad ever since Dwayne found that darn gas can at the newspaper building the day after the fire. He has this insane notion that it's mine. I pay him not because I'm guilty, but because I don't want him slurring my good name around Harvest.
Oh, naturally.
You know, he keeps that gas can in the evidence room at his office. I'd be really grateful to whoever could fetch me that can. Grateful enough to provide him with a lodge application. Oh, and Steve, you'll keep this to yourself. If you're smart.
We can give him the gas can from the evidence room in order to make him give us a lodge application. Fuck yeah.
Here, take it. With my thanks. You know, this morning as I was making my rounds, I noticed an awful lot of television aerials on the roofs. Seems like more and more each day. You got me this can just in time, youngster. I may have need of it again.
What do you mean?
There's another reason why Sheriff Dwayne didn't investigate the Sentinel fire. If you'd like to get something else on the blackmailing bastard, check around the television station. While you still can.
This guy's definitely gonna burn down the TV station. We should probably check it out before he does. At the station, we see the filming of a super violent kids show called Range Riders Cowboy Roundup.
Stay tuned, buckaroos. There's more to come on Range Riders Cowboy Roundup. So don't go away. And what's your name, hombre?
Steve.
Steve's a swell name. My dog's name is Steve. Would you like my autograph, Steve? What red-blooded American doesn't? Nothing like an exploding head to get the blood pumping. Literally, that is.
Even so, do you think society pays a heavy price for the violence in the media?
Of course they pay a heavy price. Just look at the net profits. They'll line up around the block to see a good slaughter. Now, excuse me, we're going back on the air. Oh, shit! Ow! Shit on a stickeroo!
I love this guy. Walking to the back, we meet the owner of the TV station, Mr. McKnight. He tells us that since the newspaper building burnt down, the TV station's profits have been skyrocketing. Something tells me that it's no coincidence, and something also tells me that Sheriff Dwayne is working with this guy. Whatever though, I really could not give two shits about the politics of this town's entertainment industry. We finally have the lodge application, so let's fill it out. Turns out Steve doesn't know his middle name and last name, or even his address. The amnesia do be real. After giving the application to the Sergeant at Arms, he congratulates us on our resourcefulness and tells us to go get some rest and return tomorrow.
You need a rest. Report back here for your next assignment.
That was quite the dream. We wake up the next day in Steve's bedroom again, wearing our signature flannel shirt, and go downstairs to talk to our family once more. Hank gives us a bit more information about our dad's situation, and it doesn't sound too good. Something dodgy is happening. Our mom has nothing new to say, so we grab the paper for Jimmy again and walk outside. Speaking of Jimmy, we've got a new pair of sneakers now, so let's complete the transaction.
Swell! Here's the keys to the broom closet at Gein Memorial. That's where they meet every day. About 3:45, as soon as everyone has gone home. Sometimes I hide in there beforehand. And Daddy-o, I see some stuff that's real nasty. Take it from me. You made a good swap. See you later, alligator.
It's time to go see some sex. Heading over to the school, we're able to unlock the broom closet thanks to Jimmy. I decided to savor this moment as much as I can, and use the camera I found to photograph them.
Huh? Screwing?
Are you blackmailing us, you little shit?
Calm down, Mr. Harrell. Stephen would never do that. He's a smiley bear. But we should give him a token of our appreciation for his silence. Here, Stephen, take this baseball bat. You'll find it quite useful.
We've got a baseball bat now, bitch. Continuing Sigma Steve's quest to join the cool kids club, we head back over to the lodge and check in with that creepy man in a robe. We let the sergeant at arms know that we're keen to join the lodge, and he tells us the process of initiation. In order to prove ourselves to this guy with a croaky voice, we have to do some epic trolling on the town of Harvest, through the form of innocent pranks. The first prank he wants Steve to pull is crashing Mr. Johnson's car that he loves so much. Considering the type of shit Mr. Johnson says, I have no qualms at all doing this for that guy. He probably smells like oats. I head over to the Johnson residence, and despite him sitting right there watching us, I proceed to scratch his car. Mr. Johnson obviously doesn't approve of Steve's actions, and begins to attack him. Good thing we got the baseball bat, because we use it to beat the man to death. Hell yeah.
You're under arrest for the murder of Mr. Johnson, Steve. Not the smartest thing you've ever done. Killing a man in broad daylight while he's sitting on his porch.
Somebody help me! What do you people want from me?
Too late for that, boy. Ain't it, Sergeant?
Indeed it is, Sheriff. Answers may only be found in the lodge, and you must be alive to seek them.
shit, my bad. Turns out, instead of beating the man to a pulp in broad daylight, we're meant to grab this manhole key outside the post office, and then come back to his house at night. Oh my god, the music, it's so good.
Harvest your fun fact time, baby.
Something strange is that the composer for this game is not actually mentioned in the credits. From looking at the opening credits of the game, we can see that the game's music was made by Zorch Productions, a company that does not even exist. It turns out the composer for this game is actually a guy named Hamilton Allstat. According to an interview done by Lodge Level 4, the reason he used this company name in the credits instead of his own was because he was working for Disney at the time and didn't think it would be a good idea to associate with a game as violent as Harvester. That was probably for the best. Turns out that this guy also made the music for the TV show Pawn Stars. Amazing. Anywho, now that we're at Mr. Johnson's house, we can use that manhole key to enter the sewers and get into his garage. The game makes us do some more pixel hunting and break this wall open with a shovel. Sneaking into his garage, we finally see Mr. Johnson's car. There's a few items in here we have to pick up that are vital for us to progress, and oh my god, Mr. Johnson likes tomboys. We grab a pitchfork, a furniture dolly, and a screwdriver, and use it to scratch the car. We do a little bit of trolling. The night's not over yet though, and considering we have time to kill, I reckon we check out the cemetery for the first time. Oh my god, the lodge is fucking massive. As we stumble around the cemetery, we find... oh shit, is that Mr. Potsdam? What the fuck is he doing here?
I'm burying our cat. She passed away and I'm burying her. Go away and mind your own business.
Then, where's the cat?
I left her at home. Now leave me alone!
Ah, he's burying a dead cat. Righto. We pick up these matches on the ground. Why they are laying on a ground in a cemetery at night, I have no fucking idea. And then we head back to the lodge to report our dastardly deeds. The robed up guy tells us that we need to steal a bolt of fabric from the town's firemen, and we get to watch the exact same cutscene as last time. After waking up in our bedroom again, Sigma Steve walks down the stairs to chat with his family.
By the way, I spoke with Mr. Johnson and he's livid. Seems someone scratched up his priceless tucker. If he finds out who, there'll be heck to pay.
Damn, that's crazy.
Edna's daughter Karen has disappeared. Karen was playing outside as Edna closed the diner, and that's the last anyone saw of her. This happened Tuesday night. That's all I know except for what's on the posters.
Holy shit. Karen's fucking dead.
Don't forget to put the papers out for Jimmy.
Oh yeah, I gotta put the papers out. I wonder what my brother thinks about this whole situation.
Leave me alone, will ya? This is the good part. I heard that someone took Karen. Little Miss Perfect gonna get famous. Gonna get a picture on a milk carton.
She's disappeared. That's all we know.
Yeah. Well, I heard that Karen was gone. So I went over to Miss Fitzgerald's house and asked if I could play with Karen. Her mom just stood there, you know, in the doorway, and cried and cried. And I just stood there, wondering how long it would take for her to stop. But she didn't.
Jesus Christ, my brother's a fucking psychopath. Considering that her daughter is missing, we should probably go check up on Edna and see how she's coping. Ah shit, I forgot to put the papers out. She'll be right. She seems to be coping quite well, and is even glad that Mr. Johnson got his car vandalized. You are welcome. At this point, I was a bit lost, and I didn't really know what to do, so I decided to check out the barber's shop for the first time. In the barber's shop, we meet some guy that can't speak English, as well as these two fine chaps.
Howdy, Steve. Too bad about Edna's daughter going missing. That was a strange night. I remember that evening. The Potsdam's upstairs bathroom toilet backed up. I've seen folks upset about that stuff, but Mr. Potsdam was just furious.
Wait, Mr. Potsdam. Wasn't he digging a grave in the cemetery last night? There was something very off about that encounter. Maybe I should go back there. On the way back to the cemetery, I decide to check out the town's mortuary, because why not? Inside, we meet this strange specimen, whose name is Mr. Moynihan. Turns out that this guy's actor is actually Gilbert P. Austin, the writer and director of the game. I wanted to find out some more information on this guy, but it appears that since the release of the game, he's completely disappeared off the face of the earth. I guess that's what making a game like this does to a man.
Do you know anything about Karen's disappearance?
She vanished Tuesday night. I remember that night Mr. Potsdam harassed me with banal conversation till the wee small hours of the morning.
Potsdam? What was he doing out so late?
Boring me with idle talk, as I told you. He came in around 11. We were discussing the lights in the cemetery. Potsdam had seen them as I had, and investigated them.
Yeah, Mr. Potsdam was definitely up to something. We should probably go check out that hole he was digging. No fucking way, this is actually fucked.
Thank God I found you. Are you alright, Karen?
I want to go home. Could you take me to my mommy's store? Or to the policeman?
Can you tell me who did this to you?
Mr. Potsdam told me he'd hurt my mommy if I told.
He won't do anything, I promise. Tell me what happened.
He made me play house. Then he dug a hole. Please, I just want to go home now. Please.
We get the choice of either going to the police station or taking her straight back to the diner. And since I don't trust this town's police in the slightest, I take her back to the diner.
Oh my God. Karen. Thank God. What happened?
Found her in the graveyard. She was buried alive. And she claims Mr. Potsdam was responsible.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you from both of us. Here's the reward money. Take it and go. I need to be alone with my baby right now.
Fuck yeah, we got money. Wait, wasn't I meant to be stealing some cloth from the fire station? What the fuck am I doing? Heading over to the fire station, I don't see a single piece of cloth anywhere, and even if we did, we probably couldn't steal it without getting spotted. In order to get access to the station unattended, Steve, the rational and collected man that he is, decides to pull the fire alarm at the school and draw the firemen away. Never fucking mind, they locked the door. We can, however, grab ourselves a ladder and a fire axe. Epic. While we wait for nightfall to occur so we can stealth our way into the station, we head back home to ask our dad to sign our meat slip. After all, we're gonna need a way to distract that dog. Steve's dad is still locked up in his gooning cave, so we need to sneak through the window, which means unscrewing these bars with our screwdriver. There was an alarm. The game actually lets you get arrested for petty crimes twice before you get electrocuted, so now we're on strike one. This time we use our furniture dolly to move this bookshelf, allowing us to disable the house's alarm. We're finally able to unscrew the bars and meet our dad. Holy shit, it is a gooning cave. Why the fuck is there a cow?
Steve, is that you? Come to see your poor old dad?
Are you my father? Really? I don't remember you.
Please. I'm not in the mood for jokes.
I'm serious. Why won't anyone believe me?
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Just don't make me laugh now. Remember the stitches.
My God. What has she done to you?
She doesn't know you're here, does she? Does she?
No, I had to break in. What the hell is going on in here?
I know it's a mystery to you. The sacred things that husbands and wives do behind closed doors. Maybe we should have that special father-son talk. Especially now that you're getting married.
It appears that our mother is keeping our dad, Joshua Graham, as a sex slave. Cool story, Dad, but I really don't give a fuck. Sign my meat slip. Thank you. After grabbing some meat from the plant that definitely doesn't come from a cat, the sun finally sets and we head over to the fire station to steal some cloth. Ah, hell yeah, there's a naked guy. Unfortunately, we have to part ways with our precious piece of feline meat and use it to distract the dog before he alerts the firemen. Take a look at this room. Where do you think the cloth is hidden? In the fireplace, maybe? Under the table, perhaps? No. We have to flip the lights on and use our stolen ladder to climb up to this light and take the cloth that's hiding inside it. This, may or may not have taken me half an hour to figure out. With the bolt of cloth stolen from the zesty fireman, we can end the night and watch Steve get undressed for the third time. We enter the fourth day in Sigma Steve's sex cave once again, and we go down to the kitchen to get the town's gossip from our mother. She tells us about the upcoming blood drive and warns us that something bad will happen to us if we don't join the lodge in time. She also tells us that Karen was lying and Mr. Potsdam had nothing to do with her kidnapping. Okay buddy, I reckon we head over to the Potsdam household and have a chat with him. Oh yeah, I forgot to give Jimmy his paper. Alright then, after giving Jimmy his paper so he doesn't light me up with a Glock 19, we head over next door and chat with this beautiful specimen of a man.
Yeah, I know what that crazy little bitch said, but it's not true. I was at home that night. Mrs. Potsdam will vouch for me. Isn't that right, Mrs. Potsdam?
That's right, Mr. Potsdam. Hello, Steve. Care to stay for some pot roast?
Forget the pot roast, Mother. Pot roast isn't for backstabbers, for persecutors. I won't share my meat with him. My meat! My meat!
Alright then. After heading up to the upstairs bathroom to completely destroy their toilet, I found that I missed something last time I was here. Oh my god. He's spying on his daughter. We go next door to update Stephanie with our progress, and she's not very happy about us trolling the town to get into the lodge. Oh yeah, I should probably tell her about that peephole.
Stephanie, I think you should know. There's a peephole hidden behind the picture in the bathroom.
You mean a peephole? They're spying on me?
I'm afraid so.
So that's the scraping I hear every night. The picture sliding along the wall. Disgusting. I've got to get out of here, Steve. The thought of that fat slob watching me.
I'd say she took that pretty well. After updating Stephanie, we get back to the lodge to give the creepy robe guy the cloth we stole.
Your next assignment is to break into the tonsorial establishment of Mr. Pastorelli and abscond with his prized barber's pole. I hope you succeed in your task. Break into the shop, steal the barber's pole, and bring it back to me. At that point, I shall give you your final task.
Ah, cool. Now we have to steal a barber's pole. Thank God we're almost done with this bullshit. Considering the sun is still up and the barber's shop is still open, we have to wait till nighttime before we can take the pole. While waiting, we head to the general store to spend that cash we got from rescuing Karen. No matter how much I wanted that can of soup with a skull on the label, all we could afford was a pipe wrench and some duct tape. I'm sure that'll be handy. As we leave the store, nighttime comes, and we can finally head over to the barber's shop. After using every item in my inventory on the door and the window, it turns out that we have to use the tape that we just bought to secure the window on the door, and then use our fire axe to smash the glass discreetly. Why, of course, I should have thought of that. That's my bad. Now we can grab the pole and get the fuck out of here. This sheep is creeping me out. God fucking damn it. After reloading a save and turning the light switch off, duh, fucking idiot, we can grab the pole without getting detained and end the night. This cutscene is really starting to piss me off. After waking up again and chatting to our lovely mother, she gives us some bad news.
Did you hear what happened at the barber shop? Someone broke into Pastorelli's salon and took his antique barber's pole. The next morning, Pastorelli touched some live wires that the thief left lying around and was electrocuted.
Oops.
Well, that darn foreigner got what he deserved, if you ask me. Coming into a nice little town like Harvest and stealing business.
Okay, buddy.
Heavens, if a bowl and scissors were good enough for your father, I don't see why decent working folk need a fancy wop styling their hair. That's how it goes. First you get a sissy trim, then bang! You're a communist.
Alright, that's enough of that. Amongst her racist ramblings, we find out that the town is having a bake sale tonight, and that she's baked 1,200 cookies in preparation, but will only be bringing 20. Fair enough. After giving the little shit in our front yard some paper so he doesn't dome us in the head, we head back to the lodge to return the barber's pole and continue to get groomed by the sergeant at arms.
An unfortunate side effect that Pastorelli was electrocuted because you left live wires in a puddle on the floor. But as those with affectations of worldliness say, c'est la vie. Pastorelli's own incompetence caused his unfortunate accident. What does it matter that you left live electrical wires hanging in the water on the floor? If he hadn't cross-wired the alarm system to the sprinklers, he'd be alive today.
Yeah, you're right. If you really think about it, it's not our fault.
Your final assignment is to set a fire in DNA's diner and let the French fry where they may.
Oh my god. So we go from vandalism to theft/manslaughter, and now we're committing arson. Alright, sounds good to me. He doesn't give us any hints on how to burn the diner down, so we have to be resourceful. In order to progress further, we have to head back to the mortuary and watch this epic video of a dead person. For some reason, the body has some strange slash wounds, so we take a photo of it with our camera to document it. After speaking to the creepy mortician, we find out that he's been killing homeless people, and that this guy is one of his victims. Using the photo that we just took, we blackmail the man into giving us a tube of glue. I have no idea how this glue could be useful, but I fully suspect that it will be. After obtaining the mortician's glue, it becomes night and we're able to check out the bake sale.
What a good boy you are. Have a cookie.
While chatting up this group of MILFs in the school gym, we get rudely interrupted.
Ladies, someone has just burned down the TV station. On the night of our bake sale?
Oh shit. Heading to the TV station, we see, oh fuck, it's the postmaster guy. He actually did it. You know, now would be the perfect time to burn down the diner. Heading over there, we have to do the same dumb shit with the duct tape on the glass to enter. Before we can burn the building down, we have to use our glue to attach this cake cover to the ceiling to block the smoke alarm. I mean, that's one way to do it. We turn the fryer on in the back and throw a match before we bolt out of the building. Hell yeah. Fucking sick, dude. We head back home to watch Steve strip naked again, and we enter the 6th and final day. Like we do every day, we head down into the kitchen and talk to our mentally insane mother that may or may not have severe brain damage.
Annual blood drive, huh?
If you knew how much blood we get, you'd be more impressed. Donations are mandatory, Steve. If you're still here come Sunday, you'll be expected to give.
Until it hurts, I suppose.
Until it hurts. Even Hank will have to donate. Of course, lodge members are exempt. Remember that.
Hey, either way, no one's sticking me with the needle.
We don't use needles.
We need to get into the lodge.
Why are you sitting in front of that blank TV?
Someone burnt down the TV channel. There's nothing on. Nothing on.
Honestly, Hank, you're acting like an alcoholic. I told you all that TV would hurt you.
Watching TV don't hurt me, Mom. But not watching TV hurts bad.
Our brother has brain rot. We should probably go check out the remains from last night. I'm feeling very guilty. Oh my god, not Range Rider. I wonder how Edna and Karen are holding up.
I've tried so hard to find an excuse to keep on fighting, but Karen and I can't go on alone any longer. This diner he left us was all we had. It was always a struggle to keep it running in such a small town. And now we've lost it. I know that I can't afford to support us now. There's only one way out. I'm sure you won't be able to understand the depth of despair that would enable a mother to put a rope around her baby's neck.
get trolled. After causing the death of a single mother and her daughter, Steve decides to head back over to Stephanie and have sex. As you do. Oh yeah, and her dad watches us. Hot. After doing the deed, we tell her that it wasn't us that burned down the diner, or steal the barber pole. Gaslighting isn't real. Why would you say that? You're being crazy right now. Having completed our final task, we go back to the lodge to see if the guy in robes will let us into his secret club.
DNA's diner is no more, as is Edna herself. She hung herself as soon as she realized what had happened to her beloved establishment. A true entrepreneur and a credit to her nation. Come now. Anyone who spoke with her for 5 minutes would have known what a tragedy the destruction of her diner would be. Still, you sought to torch her diner, and torched it is. You have proven yourself a worthy candidate for initiation.
Wait, candidate? So it turns out all of the epic trolling we've done so far wasn't even to join the lodge. It was to prove that we're worthy to start initiation. I am going to headbutt a screwdriver. While we wait to get ourselves an invitation, we head back over to Stephanie to tell her the situation. Upstairs in the Potsdam household, we see Stephanie's dad outside her bedroom, and he's acting a bit strange.
Okay, you can come in now, son.
My God. Is that what I think it is?
Yep, it's a spinal cord.
Is it Stephanie?
I can see a resemblance, but I can't be sure.
More pie, Sheriff?
Pie? Don't you realize what's happened?
Oh, indeed I do. I can just hear the tongues wagging at the PTA. Was it suicide?
Never heard of anyone pulling their own spinal cord out before. Off the record, I'd have to say no. No, all in all, I'd say this was death by natural causes.
Natural causes?
You can't live without a spinal cord, son. Nothing unnatural about that. Think I will have some more pie.
Right away.
I can't believe this. This is horrible.
Believe me, you get to the point to where this is routine. Now the only clue we got is that card on our pillow. Take a look at it.
This is practically a confession.
Confession to what, son?
Murder. Isn't that what you're here to investigate?
Son, you don't investigate natural deaths. No point.
Then I'll get to the bottom of this myself.
Yeah. I'm sure you will.
More pie, Sheriff?
Don't mind if I do.
Give this man an Oscar. Turns out, Stephanie is fucking dead, and all that's left is her spinal cord. Sheriff Dwayne says that it's not a murder, and that she died of natural causes, cause you can't live without a spinal cord, son. Nothing unnatural about that. Although Stephanie is no longer alive, it's not all bad, because lying on her bed is an invitation to the lodge. I mean, that was pretty easy. Going back over to the lodge and speaking with the sergeant at arms, it turns out that the card was in fact not the invitation.
I don't understand.
The invitation was not the card, but the spinal cord. It must be presented to me ere I allow you to enter.
Looks like we're going grave digging. We've done much worse up to this point. In order to get the spinal cord, we head over to the cemetery once again to break into the Potsdam family mausoleum. Holy fuck, is it huge. How rich is this fucking family? We can use our ladder from before to get onto the roof and use our fire axe to break through the skylight. Inside we find... Oh my god, what the actual fuck is that? Is that a hellhound? A fucking mutated rat? What am I looking at? After brutally murdering this fiendish creature, we open up Stephanie's coffin and grab ourselves a spinal cord. Hell yeah. At this point, instead of returning to the lodge, we can actually head back home to go to the next day, and we can watch this amazing game over cutscene.
What the hell are you doing?
I told you, if you were still in harvest for the annual blood drive, you'd have to donate.
What's happening here? Have y'all lost your minds?
You have only so long to find yourself. After that, if you're still a stranger, you have no one to blame. Yourself.
Oh my god, that was so metal. Instead of returning home to donate our blood and head, we go back to the lodge to hand over the spinal cord.
You have done well. Now let the initiation commence. As your mystagogue, it is requested and required that I turn over this sacred dagger to you to aid you in your quest.
What is this?
You must now enter the lodge. Initiates find it a hostile place.
Are you supposed to help me or get me killed?
I'm starting you on the path of initiation to a very special, very exclusive brotherhood. I am merely the administrator of a test. Whether you view me as an enemy or a friend depends on how well you're prepared to pass.
This thing? You haven't said what it is.
It is a special weapon. Using it will be part of the initiation.
The Sergeant at Arms hands us a sacred dagger shaped as the harvest insignia and allows us to enter the lodge after he warns us of hostility inside.
Whatever occurs in here is relevant to the great question which you cannot help but answer. What is at issue is whether in answering the question you will find the answers you seek. You will encounter those intent on preventing or prompting your answer, depending on how you look at it. While the assumption is you want to live, dying is easy and provides its own answer, but not for you.
Just tell me, is Stephanie dead or being held within?
The membership director on the second level keeps track of such things.
Oh boy, looks like we gotta get to the second floor.
Now, let the initiation begin.
Lovely. What a lovely sight.
Ah, you're here. Excellent. You'll find them through that door.
Excuse me?
You are the exterminator, are you not?
No.
In that case, I'm afraid you'll have a hard time of it, sir. Recently, the lodge has become infested by pests. They need exterminating, or, to be blunt, sir, they need killing. And plenty.
Wow, That was great. This small man, yeah, he looks a bit familiar. Oh well, let's jump through this hatch and kill some pests. Ew, what the fuck? We're inside some guy's asshole. Sweet Jesus, what am I looking at? Oh my god, what the fuck is that thing? Why is it making that noise? As you can see, from this point onwards, the game drastically shifts in tone. Up to this point, we haven't really seen anything supernatural or unrealistic. I mean, except for that dog thing. However, the lodge is filled to the brim with insane shit that makes no sense at all. The lodge is split into 3 different levels, and Sigma Steve will need to make his way to the top in order to find out what in tarnation is going on. The gameplay also changes quite a bit. No longer do we have to go around chatting with people and picking up items that may or may not be useful. Instead, we have to fight our way through. This change is quite sudden. Throughout the game so far, there's been no real use for the combat system, but now we're gonna have to master it in order to progress. And holy fuck is it janky. Get ready to save before entering every room, because there's a good chance you'll get your skull caved in by an eldritch being. After making our way through the flesh pit, we're given the option to explore the first level of the lodge. We get a notification that our clothes are covered in acid from the flesh pit, and that we have to find a way to wash it off before we die. Great. After killing another hellhound at the Last Supper, we enter a rundown bar that's playing a distorted version of the main theme. It kinda goes hard. You see this cash register, right? Take a guess at how you're meant to open it. Whatever you guessed, you're wrong. You have to click on this shelf behind the bar that blends in with the background. Pick up a bottle of beer, drink said beer, so that Steve hallucinates an evil version of himself that attacks him. Defeat said hallucination, pick up a key from its body, and then use it to unlock the register. Honestly, I'm not fucking surprised at this point. Through the bar, we also find this strange room with a fountain that we can't get past because there's a man-eating plant in the way. We're gonna have to exterminate this thing. Walking around aimlessly a bit more, we find this goofy fellow in a cloakroom. After we use the money we found to clean our clothes, we kill the man in cold blood, and he drops a shotgun. Where he was holding said shotgun, I have no idea. By moving this cloak in the background, from one peg to another, we can open up a hidden room and get some ammo for the shotgun, as well as the scythe, the best melee weapon in the game. Fuck yeah dude, it's harvesting time. Going into the next room, we find a mentally ill chef covered in blood, who also looks a bit familiar. Lovely. I wonder if he can help us.
Sorry, you'd need to talk to the membership director up on 2.
Can you tell me anything that might help me?
Not really.
He was asking for it. We eat the guy's sandwich to heal back up, and because Steve is a freak, he decides to pick up some body parts lying on the floor. Back in the cloakroom, we flick a switch to open a door, and inside we see... Jesus fucking Christ, I was not expecting that. In the bar, we get 2 more melee weapons. The lodge is quite abundant in them, and we cross the bridge to move. Oh, yeah, that's my bad. That's totally my fault, I should have known. After throwing those body parts we found in the water, we safely walk across and find a crossy bathroom with some weed killer. That plant motherfucker, he's dead. With that little shit out of the way, we can take a look into this fountain. Hey Steve, you good man? That would be my reaction too, if I was looking into a 90s CGI pool of water. In this fountain, we can pick up a key. Do you see where it is? I'll give you 5 seconds to see if you can spot it. Did you find it? Of course you fucking didn't. It's right there. I want to drown myself. Using the key, you can enter this fucking sweet hidden room with another demon inside. As we climb up, we hear Stephanie scream for help. That's right, bitch. She's still alive. On the second floor of the lodge, we find ourselves in a liminal looking art gallery with a guy eye-fucking us. In the art gallery, we face off against sentient statues until one of them drops us a key. The art in this gallery is just bizarre. I've got no idea if the paintings mean anything or not. Using the key, we can go through another door and enter the guts of the lodge. We find a librarian that kinda looks familiar. She tells us that Stephanie is on the 3rd floor and offers us some help if we find her a lost book from the library. But I don't really know how to read, so I shoot her. Next, we find this vaporwave looking room where we find a flail. Goddamn, we are just stacked with weapons. In the next area, we can't really progress any further because this janitor guy is in our way.
Hey buddy, give me a break, will you? You think just because I'm a janitor I got no pride? That's all I got to do all day is clean up after you rich bastards? Take a hike before you get hurt. Hey buddy, give me a break. Hey buddy. All right,
That guy. Thanks for the nail gun, bitch. Ah, epic. Another locked door. I'm losing my f***ing mind. Ah, cool, a guy playing chess.
I am the chess master. Any initiate who wishes to pass this way must do so over my dead body. Being a civilized man, I offer my opponents a choice. Solve my problem or fight me to the death. Do you know how to play chess?
I actually don't know how to play chess. What if I do that?
Chess is a civilized game.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I should really learn how to play chess. Hey look, the key to that door is inside this guy's head. Alright, it's correct, Steve. In the next room, there's this homeless looking guy in a gooning cave that has so much health. Oh look, it's the book the librarian wanted. Too bad she's f***ing dead. Down the hall a bit, we can speak to the membership director. This guy kinda looks familiar. The reason that all these people look so familiar is because they're actually the evil versions of the people in Harvest. The game doesn't really tell you that, but it mentions it in the script. It turns out that the scream we heard was Stephanie, and she's in the Chapel of Love on the 3rd floor. Ah, I'm sorry Steve, am I f***ing boring you? After murdering a killer clown and getting ourselves a chainsaw and a key, we can go through this mysterious door in the middle of the lodge. We pick up these 2 American flags because if we don't, we will die. Also, we need to pick up these 2 wooden planks because if we don't, we will die. This game is very much trial and error. On the wall behind the stage, there's some masks that you need to rotate in a specific way to open the door. I have absolutely no idea how you're meant to know which way to rotate them. I just clicked them both in a random order until it worked. Behind the mask, we have the boiler room with a timed puzzle that we need to complete before we die. You have to pick up a bunch of pipes on the floor and assemble them in your inventory. Then you use the pipes to redirect the steam in time, otherwise you burn alive. This is the easiest puzzle in the game. That says quite a lot. In the next room, we have to cross this pool of lava using the planks that we picked up. The planks catch on fire though, so you gotta do it quickly. Next, we're put into a room where the ceiling is slowly descending. Thank fuck we picked up those flags, because we need them to stop the ceiling and push down these buttons to unlock the next door. After brutally murdering an elderly security guard, we climb up another rope to finally reach the 3rd floor. Oh my god, is that a CGI fat man? Am I high? Throughout the game, every single person has been a real-life actor. This is the first and only time the game has a CGI person. It's so f***ing random. Why is he here? It's like they couldn't find an actor with his physique, so they just threw in a 3D model. This is truly epic.
This is the Temple of the Mystery of Abstinence. Do not eat of the food or you will be punished. All within are hereby bound to a vow of abstinence.
Dude, I have no health left. I need to eat the food. Oh my god.
The central mystery is thus. Those who advocate abstinence are those who possess the most. It is to their advantage that you obey, not to yours. The meek shall inherit the earth when the strong are finished with it. Advance, initiate, and remember what you have learned.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that cutscene? There's just a 1-second cutscene of him turning around and smirking at the camera before he starts to open fire on you. I'm so f***ing confused. The next room is the Temple of the Mystery of Motherly Love.
And some mothers complain that their children don't come to see them.
Mommy, you're so good. You're so good.
Oh my god, what is happening?
You don't know the half of it.
Jesus Christ. The practical effects in this game are actually amazing. After putting the mum and her kids out of their misery, we head to the next room, the Temple of the Mystery of Religion.
Welcome to the Temple of the Mystery of Religion. The mystery is thus. Those who preach love and mercy in God's name.
Why is he talking like that? In order to not get our shit rocked by these priests, we have to answer this guy's questions correctly. I have absolutely no idea how I did it, but I managed to answer all of them correctly the first time.
Is God a jar of strawberry preserves, a size 12 sneaker, a foot-long hoagie, an all-expense-paid trip to Brazil, or a new car?
How? Next, we have the Temple of the Mystery of Morality. We have some war veteran with a dead family. The environment, as well as what the guy says, kinda suggests that he's a veteran of the Vietnam War, even though this game takes place 2 years before the war. Uh-oh. After taking out the war veteran, we head to the next room, the Temple of the Mystery of Flesh. Oh fuck, it's Mr. Potsdam. I guess he finally got his meat.
Yes, but to be initiated into the mysteries of the harvest, I had to do one last thing. I let them into the house and into Stephanie's bedroom. Sometimes you have to sacrifice meat to gain meat. The Order taught me that.
Yeah, that explains it. This absolute mad lad gave up his daughter's life in order to get himself some meat. He is truly an inspiration. Oh my lord, is he chunky. Hold on, why do his pants look like that? It turns out Mr. Potsdam was originally meant to be fully naked in this scene, but understandably, that would be way too disturbing, and they decided to scrap the idea. Instead of just reshooting the scene, they decided to shoddily draw some pants on him. I don't know about you, but I'm a little disappointed. I would have loved to see his. After finally getting to kill the fat bastard, we head over to the Temple of the Mystery of Lust. This place has a lot of temples. Sigma Steve, the horn dog that he is, decides to pay $200 to get laid. However, he contracts an STD and a death timer begins. Rookie mistake. We can find a cure for him if we're quick enough, but instead I just loaded back to my save and then killed the women instead. Apparently saying no to sex makes them hostile. Next, we go to the Temple of the Mystery of Beauty, where this lady is confidently leaning against the door, staring at the camera. The lady asks us if we think she's pretty in several different ways. After validating her image several times, she sees through our lies, so we have to take her out. Next is the Temple of the Mystery of Pain. I don't want to talk about this temple. Next is the Mystery of Charity, and we have some blind guy asking us to give him something valuable, considering the only things we have on our person is weapons and random point-and-click adventure game items. He starts to attack us. The range on this guy is quite insane. If you have no ammo left during this point, you're fucked. No, literally. If you don't have any ammo for your weapons in this final scene, it's pretty much impossible to beat the game. Thank God this game has cheat codes. If you type the names of some of the game's lead developers, you're able to get a refill on your items, as well as become invincible and skip certain areas. I may or may not have needed to refill my ammo towards the end. Next, we have the Mystery of Mercy, where this Spartan guy gives us the option of showing mercy to this elderly couple, or killing them. I mean, I've already killed countless people at this point, so what's two more? After sacrificing the pair of cadavers, we go to the next room, where we have this insanely difficult boss fight with a guy that summons a man and a sentient trash can that's meant to be a robot. Finally, after fighting our way through a ton of bizarre temples, we reach the inner sanctum for the final fight.
Welcome to the inner sanctum, big guy.
Principal Harold?
Within the inner sanctum, you will address me as Vice Muck Harold, second in command to the Grand Muckety Muck. Here of the Fez and Buffalo Ham, the secret handshake, the funny passwords. Only fitting, given that my role has always been that of an educator, and Harvest is one big classroom.
What do you mean?
You'll have to kill me to find out what he means, big guy.
Just like the last fight, this guy is a pain in the ass. He jumps around a lot and throws these bolt things at you. Without full health or a ton of ammo, it's almost impossible to beat this fight. After taking down Grand Muckety Muck, we're finally able to enter the Chapel of Love and save Stephanie.
This is always a great moment when the initiate passes over the threshold and becomes a brother.
Stephanie?
I believe you have something for her. Ring the bell and win a prize for the lovely lady. Or is it win the lovely lady as your prize?
This man looks like he's in pain.
Enough games.
Agreed. Each time you climbed the rope, you caused her pain, but you always hurt the ones you love. Is that all you require?
I want an explanation.
Of course you do. There are no such things as monsters. And yet, you've killed monsters. Everything in Harvest is just slightly askew. This is because, as advanced as our technology is, we cannot make the sim any better than this. The subject's subconscious always warps it in unpredictable ways.
Sam?
This is nothing more than a virtual reality designed by the Harvesters to test potential members. Having successfully completed the program, you have earned the right to become a Harvester.
What the hell is a harvester?
The hand that grips the knife that stabs. The ones who move amid the crop and harvest the fruit.
You're talking about people. Killing people.
Again and again and again, I believe the technical term is serial killer. The Harvesters seek to perpetuate terror and discord for our own purposes. We do this through the random utility of murder, and we persevere through our recruitment of initiates like yourself.
You want me to become a serial killer?
The main twist of the game is dumped on us within the last 10 minutes, and it turns out that Harvest is a simulation designed to produce serial killers. This revelation is sort of given to the player very suddenly. While there are a few hints given to us throughout the story that there's something not right in Harvest, nothing really outwardly suggests that it's a simulation. It's just explained to us in a cutscene at the end of the game. While it's out of nowhere, this twist does explain a lot of the batshit crazy stuff we've seen. All the horrendous shit we've seen thus far, all of the evil deeds we were asked to perform, all of it was to desensitize us to serial killing. In my experience playing the game, this desensitization to violence was pretty apparent. Early in the game, I was super hesitant to kill people, even though that was mostly out of fear of being arrested. However, once I got to the lodge, I had no second thoughts about slaughtering people to progress. I guess the simulation worked.
This entire reality has been engineered to break down your resistance, to desensitize you to violence. Now you may become a harvester and re-enter the real world, or stay in peace with young Stephanie and spend the rest of your life in the construct known as Harvest.
What is the real world at this point?
Right now, you are suspended in a sensory deprivation tank, wired to a VR deck. If you don't join us, we will terminate your life support, and you will be dead within minutes. Those last minutes, however, will seem like a lifetime lived in Harvest. You will marry Stephanie and die peacefully of old age.
You're presuming a lot.
Aside from you, she is the only real person in Harvest, suspended in a tank, jacked in just as you are. I assume you'll want to spend time together.
If I stay.
Of course, having completed your ordeal, you may leave with her as you intended and enjoy your victory. If, on the other hand, you wish to join us, the cost of exiting the lodge is the same as the cost of entering the lodge: a skull and spinal cord. Hers.
No. You couldn't kill me. These harvesters, they put people through this torture to give them a taste for killing. The way to beat them is to deny them, to live out your life here with me. You're thinking about killing me, aren't you? Didn't you hear what he said? I do exist. If you kill me here, I'll die for real. And I'll feel all the pain, all the terror, because I'm real.
Well, after all, what's a murder without pain and terror? We will feed the pain impulses directly into her brain and then pull the plug. You will be a murderer, this time for real. So what will it be? Life in Harvest, or life as a harvester?
At this point, we're presented with our first and only narrative choice. We have the option of staying in the town of Harvest, living out the rest of our days married to Stephanie. However, doing this will result in the life of Steve in the real world being ended.
You had possibilities.
I'd rather die than become as twisted as you.
You've made your choice and succeeded in your quest. Enjoy the life you've chosen, such as it is.
What a waste. This kid could have been something. Never looked back. We got 2 more to plug in. There's gotta be a better way to develop these serial killers. This is scientific. You want we should go back to the old way? What old way? Good breeding.
Rest in peace, Steve. The other ending we're given the choice of picking is that of becoming a serial killer. By killing Stephanie in the simulation, resulting in her real-life death, we're able to prove ourselves to the Order and be free to leave the simulation and roam the world as a serial killer. To do this, the game makes us beat up Stephanie, and goddamn is it brutal. It takes a good 8 hits to take her down, and with each one, she screams in pain. It's totally worth it though, because we get to see this Mortal Kombat fatality.
Wow, that was neat.
Welcome to our order, brother.
Where are you going?
Nowhere. Nowhere at all.
What are you doing, son?
Playing Harvester.
That thing? I looked at it the other day. The very thought. Breeding serial killers. It's disgusting.
It's cool.
You'll rot your mind playing games like that. Don't you know people who watch violence become violent themselves?
That's bullshit, Mom.
No, it isn't. Why do you think they started cutting the violence out of those Roadrunner cartoons?
Roadrunner cartoon. Roadrunner cartoon?
I'm speechless. That was the best ending to a video game I've ever seen. That was Harvester. Possibly the most game to ever exist, I reckon. If you managed to watch this whole video, goddamn, I'm sorry dude. Somehow, we managed to reach 10,000 subscribers. I honestly have no words. I can't possibly express how grateful I am for making it this far. Thank you so much for all your support. It means so much. I also want to shout out and thank my amazing Patreon members. I love you all. Thank you Mrs. Mayo, Gage Mendon, Too Funny Too Cool, and Bunny Walk. You guys are quite epic. Let me know if you guys like this video format. There's so many more games I'd love to share with all of you. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Kappa Dance, and I'm outside your window.